Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Waiting to be profiled is director Susanne Bier and actress Jennifer Lamar. We were lucky enough to do a sit-down with Susanne Bier previously, and you'll see what that interview sounds like. Director Susanne Bier, Danish director Susanne Bier, studied at the Berzele Academy of Arts and Drama in Jerusalem. She studied architecture in London and eventually enrolled in a film directing course at the Film Society in Denmark. Why did you go there after the arts?
Well, you know, filmmaking is a continuation of the arts, I would say. To me, I mean, I studied architecture all along, and then I started becoming interested in set designs and started reading scripts. So eventually it was like an organic continuation of what I've done previously. So it's, yeah.
But all of it was part of your eye. Did it matter that you had to get behind a camera then and look at that?
Well, as you said, all of it was to do with the eyes, and I mean, filmmaking is very much a way of seeing the world, like architecture is to an extent. But I haven't felt that it was such a dramatic change. I've kind of felt that it happened slightly fluently.
In 1997, when you graduated from the directing school, you started winning all kinds of awards, and all through the 90s you won awards for your films. So you must have been right on target.
Well, I certainly felt myself that I hit at the right source. I mean, I certainly felt that I got to a point where I was doing what I should be doing with my life.
When the first award-winning film that you did was a school film?
That's
right. What it was? What was that about, and how did you go about doing it?
You know, it's very funny because after I did that, I did a number of comedy, but the film I did at film school is a very, very beautiful, very Scandinavian film, totally devoid of any sense of humor. And when I watch it now, it's like, I can see the beauty, but I can also see, oh my God, was I that serious? Was I that kind of, without any sort of irony or anything like that.
But you've made 7 films. Your
right.
7th feature was Open Hearts.
That's right.
Which is made in the genre of dogma.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. I just thought it was fascinating that this group, is it an actual group of people, Dogma?
Actually, it's actually 4 directors who were the first ones who did 4 films. And it's 2 people who wrote the whole thing. Thomas Winterberg and Lars Trier wrote the Dogma Manifesto. And you can see it's like an artistic political concept which has to do with bringing movies back to the core of the story and the characters.
Why did you happen to get into that genre?
Well, you know, they are Danish and we are all friends, and I have for a number of years been talking with them about making a dogma film. And so after we made the script for this film, it felt very natural to have it be a dogma film.
But when Open Hearts started in your mind, you were thinking of a comedy.
Well, you know, when I started working with a scriptwriter, I was thinking about a comedy.
Uh-huh.
I've been the queen of comedy in Denmark, and he's been the king of comedies.
Isn't that funny?
And then we met and made something which was completely different, much more serious somehow.
This is with the writer.
Right.
And what's his name?
Anders Thomas Jensen.
And so you just started writing? And then you started working together, and this is what happened?
And the energy between us was of a more serious kind, was of a more sort of dramatic kind than a clean-cut comedy. Having said that, there are some quite a lot of humorous scenes in the film, in spite of it being kind of sad. But it's certainly not a comedy.
I think we can go on and talk about the dogma rules, because I think they're fascinating. The lighting, for instance.
Right. You have to use available light.
There is no lighting.
There is no lighting. There is no set design. There is no makeup artist while shooting. There is like I mean, you know, there are 10 rules, and it would be very lengthy if I tell them in detail. But the whole thing is about staying with reality. That's basically the whole thing.
What you did it in a documentary type of style?
Yeah, but I mean, the thing of available light and forces you to, and one of the rules is also that the camera has to be handheld.
I see.
So it does forces you to make some kind of style which is slightly documentary.
I see. That's what forces you into
Yes,
that melodrama of...
Well, no, it doesn't force you into the melodrama, but it forces you into a documentary style.
The other thing is, it says, when I was reading, that there's a lack of aesthetic. I don't understand that, because
But that's
they're
not
so
true.
aesthetic
But that's
to me.
not true. That's not true. I mean, the thing is,
Anti-aesthetic is...
the thing is that you can't decide the actress has to wear only blue clothes.
Right.
You can't make that sort of decisions. The only decision, because the actors bring the clothes themselves in the morning. So the kind of decision that which would be about the costumes, would be the actress deciding that I think this character is wearing these clothes, which is more of a psychological choice than an aesthetic choice.
Because you don't have a person doing this...
Yes, but not just because of that, also because when you do this thing, they should only wear blue clothes. You are taking the psychology beyond the aesthetics, and the whole thing is about not doing that.
The interesting thing that I thought is every time there was something really emotional, there was anguish. How did you show that on the screen? I know what I saw.
Tell me what you saw.
I saw that the people were grainy. That the film became very grainy when they were like thinking so hard, and they were so emotional.
No, but that's right. It is grainy. It is some of it is grainy. Yes, yes. It's a super. We had some other stock material.
Is that why?
Yes, that's why. And we have 3 cameras with us all the time, and they're different. They have different textures, because I wanted some kind of. I wanted to show that there were different layers in psychology.
That's what I could see.
Yeah.
The other thing is that when you're in the family, you're in a warm situation, just like this studio, yellow, golden. That's how I felt.
Yes,
the lights,
you know,
how were the lights golden then?
But you know what? I tell you what. It was candles, because you're not allowed to use any artificial light. So we just put a lot of candles on the table. So and those were the real candles.
And that's what happened.
Yes.
Okay. Then how do you make the music and the lyrics work? Because so much of the lyrics and the music were telling what these people were going through.
Well, it was made for the film, and it was made before we started shooting. I spoke to the guy who wrote the music, and it's somebody like called Angun who sings it. And I was telling, you know, we have to have this particular theme for a song, and then the young girl had it in her Walkman, the main character, so she could hear that.
Yeah, and then one of the other things is the opening and closing were so different, because you've made videos, you've done MTV videos, and you've done commercials, and it was like pink and purple and yellow and lots of cuts.
That's right. But you know what? It's actually very simple. It's like a heat-sensitive camera, so it does that by itself. But you know, I meant to make this X-ray of our life, and so we have like a square, and there's all these colorings and all that kind of thing.
I just felt so much, and I thought it was like so intentional, this filmmaking, as a director, of you as the director doing this. Have you acted before?
No.
You never acted,
No,
so
a
you
little
wouldn't...
bit, very, very little bit, but I don't like it. I'm far too. I much prefer being behind the camera.
Would you think that Open Hearts is a woman's film?
You know, by now it's been seen by more than 10% of all Danes. So I wouldn't. I mean, and you can't do that with a specific gender movie. So I don't think it's particularly a woman's film. I mean, it's made by women, and the women are very strong in the film, but men seem to be just as affected by it as women.
The other thing that I thought, well, I said it was a woman's film. Your producer is a woman,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And the parts. Oh, which is so prominent and now, and it's such...
Identify with different characters in the movie. So a lot of men identify with the male lead.
And this film has been to a lot of festivals.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm so exhausted.
You just came from Sundance. You went to Sundance.
Yeah.
You were, and it will open in all over the U.S., I guess.
Yes, it will open in the U.S. and it's open in Germany and
all over Europe.
Yes, and it got fantastic reviews and huge big audiences. So that's wonderful.
Well, what's Susanne going to do next?
She doesn't know. She hasn't decided yet.
Does it take a long time or a lot out of you making something like this?
Well, the thing is, it just takes, you know, I have to kind of ship it off in order to be able to focus on the next. And you know, it's fantastic having a success, but it takes a lot of time. So
that's what you're not used to. You're used to the artistic part of it.
Yeah, and also I'm used to being more local. Like comedies doesn't travel as easily. So although they've been very, very locally successful, it hasn't meant that much traveling.
Where do you live?
In Copenhagen, Denmark.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
And you do everything there? You make everything there?
Yes, everything.
Well, we're so happy that you were with us today.
Well, thank you very much. I'm so happy.
And good luck on Open Hearts.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. We have with us actress-producer Jennifer Lamar. She was born and raised in Miami. She attended Catholic University and transferred to USC to finish her degree. Did that ever happen, Jennifer?
Oh, no. No, I didn't. I fell in love. I fell in love with a rocker.
You're kidding.
And I ran away, and I didn't finish. I actually ran away to USC also.
Oh, you left Miami
I
mean DC?
I started at Catholic University, and I was there for 3 years, and I studied in their classical department, and was well on my way as a theater actress. And then over the summer, I came out to California for the first time, and I was like, I'm not going back to the East Coast. So I ran away to California, and my parents were very upset, and they said, you better find a school to go to.
Oh, that's how that happened.
Yeah.
But it's a great theater school.
Oh, it was. It was great.
So it's a good thing you found a good school.
I did. I found a good school, and I lasted there for almost to graduation, and then I fell in love with the rocker, and I ran off, and that was that.
And where'd you go?
Oh, well, I went off with him for a while, and of course those things don't last that long.
Did you go to London?
Yes, but I did go to London, and actually that was where I started modeling professionally. That was the first European country that I left to go and model. I started out modeling.
Well, how did you get, you were modeling before, so how did you get modeling jobs then?
Well, I was with Wilhelmina here in California. While I was in school, and I was supposed to kind of make a nice, easy transition, but I didn't. I just took up and ran away. And but the first place that I went to live and model was in London. And
did you do print or runway? Or?
I did print. I did runway. I did catalog. Yep.
Oh, how
definitely.
lucky for you!
Yes. You know what? I'm glad that you say that because it's something so many young girls dream about, and I feel really fortunate that I was able to do it.
That is so great, because especially starting in London.
Yes.
You were working here though before.
I was just getting my feet wet. You know, I was doing testing and getting pictures and
so it was perfect.
So forth. And then, you know, basically what you do when they start you out young is you get some pictures, and then they send you to Europe hoping that you'll get tear sheets, like actual, you know, good editorial tear sheets. And then when you theoretically come back to America with those tear sheets, then you're able to get the better caliber bookings. So I was on my way.
While you were modeling, did you take any acting lessons?
No.
Were you thinking about being an actress?
I was originally. Of course, I studied theater in college, and I began acting professionally when I was in high school.
Oh, you did?
Yes. I was the youngest resident actress at an Equity Theater in Miami. And I performed with them and did all the backstage work and everything for, you know, my last few years of high school. And I really wanted to stay and act, but the owner of the theater, he really encouraged me to go to college, and he didn't want, to be the one to stand in the way of my education. So I went to college, but I left.
But so many actors so many actors go to college.
Right.
And I don't think it's a waste of time. I think they build like this great background.
No, and I went to great schools. I mean, Catholic University has a fantastic classical department. It was just a wonderful place to learn and grow.
Because a lot of people say, oh, you should be in the theater, you're getting experience and you're learning, but you're not driven the way you are in school. When you're in school, you have to do certain things.
Well, yes, and of course, and then you're getting all the other influences from all the other things that you have to do at school. And every actor or performer, any kind of artist, needs as much influence in their life as possible. So, of course, yes.
But modeling didn't last very long, did it?
No, it did. I modeled for about 10 years.
Oh, well, that was a pretty good profession
yes,
then.
Yes, it was.
And you weren't acting at all during modeling?
No, I mean, other than if I did a commercial.
Yeah.
But no. You know where I think I think I was still attached to acting and modeling when I did fashion shows, because they can be very dramatic.
I was going to say, who did you do runway for?
Oh, I did for so many. I did for Alfred Sung, Nippon, Bill Blass.
And they give you a story, don't they?
Well,
in a way. So you go out to act.
No, not necessarily. Not when you do a show, but everything is so exaggerated. The clothes that you see on the runway are a lot more exaggerated in their style maybe than what people actually wear, and then the makeup is, and the shows actually a lot of times do have a theme that everything is centered around, and you go out and you play that theme with whatever those wardrobe pieces are, and it's a lot of fun. And then maybe you come to your rack and you're the bride,
Yeah, exactly.
So so that's a lot of fun too.
Well, in the meantime, now that you finished your acting career, your modeling career, you started a company.
I did. Out here, it wasn't anything I was planning to do. I really found the first material that my company, Guerrilla Theater, performed was called 24 Hours AM and PM. And I found that material by accident, looking for something else I was interested in.
What motivated you to start a company yourself instead of going to a small theater or going to something like that?
Well, I didn't really think, hey, I'm going to start a company. When I found the material and I read it, I could hear actors that I knew in the roles. And I thought, I haven't had a play reading at my house in a long time. I'm just going to call these guys up and say, hey, come on over, let's do it. And then it developed very organically out of that. We put them up. They looked pretty good. We were doing them in a friend's house. So we
just
thought,
these little readings, you mean?
Well, the plays were, there were 12 short plays out of 24 Hours AM and PM, and they were written in the 80s here in Los Angeles out of a writer's workshop. And really, there hadn't been a lot done with them. So I kind of threw them up. They looked good, and we thought, hey, let's invite a few people over to the house. And the performance went so well, and people enjoyed so much coming to the home that's how my company grew, and that's how our house performances came to be.
So then you continued in houses, private homes.
Yes.
What homes did you find? Who would give you a home?
Well, we perform monthly in a beautiful home in the Hollywood Hills that actually belongs to a member of the company.
I see.
And that's where we started.
Is it spare? Is there nothing in it?
No, Jerry has furniture.
No, because I wondered.
Right. Well, there is one room. The house is a very open feeling, yes. And there is one room that's just hardwood floors and white walls and a fireplace. That's the way he keeps it by choice. And so we perform in there, and we seat about 50 guests. And then it kind of grew by word of mouth, and so then people attending those house performances would hear about us, and then they would invite us.
That's what I wondered, how you got any kind of advertising out and how you found an audience.
Well, because we're performing in a private home, you have to be a little careful with that.
That's
obviously.
Another thing, right.
And also you're in a neighborhood that's not really zoned for theater.
Yeah.
And so you have to be a little careful about that.
Yeah, in all areas, right? If you're in anybody's house.
Exactly. So this was all very word of mouth. we, you know, would invite people by email, and then they would invite their friends, and the performances were so successful, it just grew that way, and people would sign in and leave us their email address, and that's how we did it.
And then you continued using homes, but I think the most interesting thing is to use a beauty shop, the cutting room.
Right. Yes.
And because it's always busy during the day and it's not busy at night.
Exactly. Well,
how did you think of doing that?
Well, it is a good fit. Since we do salon performances and we're in a salon, it did work out perfectly. Actually, I was invited there. The girl who owns the cutting room, Jane, is pretty entrepreneurial, and she has the space designed so that everything related to the salon wheels away behind doors, and it's an open space. And she hangs art on the walls, and every month she changes that art. And she's also permitted for events and so forth there. And I went there to a trunk show and to see clothing designers.
At night, though?
No, actually,
Oh,
it was
during the day?
during the day.
Oh.
I went to a trunk show that she had, and I thought, this is a fantastic space. She had never had a theater production. Actually, the cutting room is quite new, so we're her first theater production.
Is it in Santa Monica?
Yes, it's on 2nd Street.
What do you do for props and lights and staging?
Right.
Do you bring in a stage?
No, actually, no, it's very much like going to a house performance. You know, we're not elevated on the stage.
But you don't do that in the house either? You don't do anything?
In the cutting room, I don't. But the nice thing is that because I'm not in a theater, the chairs aren't bolted to the ground. So if you have to move it to scooch you over to see, you can. But it works out really well. And my company is called Guerrilla Theater for a reason. It's very lean and mean in terms that, you know, it's all about the acting, the directing, and the writing for us. Of course, we have props, but we do most of our pieces with, you know, 4 folding chairs and a little table and maybe a futon bed, and that's it.
Is it like more like improv, would you say?
No, it's not improv. The pieces that we're doing now are written by Shel Silverstein at the cutting room. And so, no, it's not improv.
Shel Silverstein wrote a lot of children's things.
Where the Sidewalk Ends, you know, he's very well known for his children's stories and his poetry.
So why did you choose his work?
Because actually the format of these pieces is very well suited to what we do. We look for short plays.
Oh, I see.
And this was a collection that he had done of short 4 to 7 minute plays. And the reason that I do that is it gives me a lot of flexibility in case I have an actor that gets another job or has to go out of town, and then it doesn't close my whole show. So I was looking for things in that format. When I came across this, obviously, you know, I recognized his name and I was really interested. This is decidedly his adult material. This is not children's material, and he had a very dark, very kind of funny edge to him in his adult pieces, and that's what we're doing.
So you don't work in any local theater?
No.
Per se, no stage,
no, we've never performed in a theater.
What other venues could you work in?
Well, we did a show and a photography studio.
See, there must be so many things. You know, the Prada store.
Yeah.
Rem Koolhaas.
I know the Prada store.
Yeah, because Rem Koolhaas and Minucci Prada decided that they should use that store at night, and that they tried to build it on a situation where it would bring in for readings and theater pieces and music, so that it's not just a commercial sales thing during the day.
Right.
And when I saw it in New York and when I saw it in Beverly Hills, and then I saw that you were doing the cutting room, it all came together.
Yes, it's a lot of fun, and why not? I mean, fashion is art. Why not? It's a perfect environment.
So you've been in a photography studio. What other venues could you use? Do they have to be inside or can they be outside?
I think I prefer inside, just because outside there are a lot of distractions for people, but I think I prefer inside. But these aren't traditional spaces, and it's been wonderful, and because it's very interesting to see how the pieces translate to the different environments, and to see how well the actors adapt in the environments, and of course it has an impact on the show because things have to be a little different in a different physical space, but I think it also impacts the pieces themselves and how they're received and performed, and it's a lot of fun to see.
The one thing you do is you're very charitable.
Yes, yes.
Tell us about that project in relation to what your guerrilla theater is.
Well, the first year that we performed the house performances, we did the house performances basically for free, and we wanted to invite people, and really because the whole point of our company was just not to wait for permission from someone else to act. We all just wanted to act and get out there and remember why we did this, and just have fun with it again. And so we just did the house performances that way. And then I decided that I was going to make the company a 501c. So now the house performances for the second year, each performance, a different member of the company or the board of directors selected another charity or foundation, and we would get half of our revenue at the house performances to charity. We never charged before we started doing that.
But so now it's really coming to see you and giving to a good cause.
Exactly, exactly. And the performances that we're doing of Shel Silverstein now in the Cutting Room are to benefit children's charities.
And those are on Sunday nights?
No.
When are they?
Actually, they're Friday and Saturday night.
Friday and Saturday nights.
Right.
And that is so great. I was trying to think of a million different places you could do it, and I'm sure you have a list a mile long.
It is, and actually, you know, I mean, there are even series of short plays that have been written for a specific location, like for a motel or for a graveyard or something like that. And, you know, and I'm just very attracted to that kind of thing.
Well, I'm so glad you came and told us about it.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Jennifer Lamar and her Guerrilla Theater Company. And thank you for watching the Joan Quinn Profiles. Keep writing to 777 South Figueroa, 44th floor, Los Angeles 90017. See you next time.